Hey everybody, I am Tommy, and you are on the lifeboat. And with me is my homeboy, right? My dog, Holmes, my
Hello.
friend from the inside. And today, folks, we're going to be talking about some foul stuff that still goes on in 2025. You would think that this kind of thing went out with the AMC Pacer, and that kind of stuff. But we're going to talk about actual no joke foul witness shaming that is taking place in these cases. And it's disgusting if it's one thing, right? If it's one lawyer. And when Agnifilo did it, I kind of thought, what a lowlife to still be. But you're going to see a lot of lawyers doing the exact same thing. And we're going to go over it. But first, we're going to do a little bit of a roll call. How are you today, by the way, Casper? You doing all right?
Man, I'm doing great. It's freezing cold up here today. There was like 70 wrecks here in the little town of Billings today on the roads.
Way.
Yeah, it's super cold, super icy. But I'm doing good. I went to my favorite pizza parlor and had some Detroit style pizza, and
nice.
I feel pretty good.
And now you're inside and you're warm. It doesn't get any better, man. It does not get any better. People say it gets really cold, and people will say, I always think of dogs or animals outside and things like this on nights like that. I swear to you, you know what I think about? Lewisburg. I swear to you, man. Yeah. I think about those fools up there right now. And they got no windows, and it's 20 below zero. Kristen Melinda, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was going to tell you. Oh, I got to turn my chat on. I was going to tell you the other day. It was that at Hazelton, the snow. Like I was in the shoe when it started snowing, and the snow is up against the shoe windows, like covers it. Nice. So it creates like this. It's an ice box in there.
And just cold and claustrophobic. And
where you're cutting your socks and making sock sleeves out of your socks and wrapping toilet paper around your legs. It was cold, man.
Pete, I'm telling you, something? I tell people this story, and I don't think that people believe me. But taking towels, right, running hot water on them and wrapping them around your legs.
We
did some really, really weird stuff to try to stay warm. Castro, good to see you. Mariana Wagner, good to see you. Johnny Scoville's in the house. Incarnasol, you know what? Incarnasol was in the live chat with Reese earlier and said some really incredible comments. I appreciate you, Incarnasol. I really do. And if you did not see my fiance's show on Relatable
it was
Reese,
so good.
I'm telling you, man, I'm biased as hell, whatever. But that's the best show that I've ever seen my fiance do. That thing, that was just
it was incredible, man.
It was an incredible show.
I told my wife, who's madly in love with Reese, to make sure she watches that tonight. We'll probably watch it when we go to bed tonight.
Yeah, that really was a good one. Reese, good to see you. I'm glad that you're here. I really am. It's always great when I look out and see you. James Collins Cares is here. Good to see you, James. Noah, I'm glad Noah is here. Noah is one of the funniest people that has joined the boat of late. I'm talking about wicked funny. Meredith Lynn, glad you're here. Layla Bradley, Taylor Miller, Burnsy 25, Fiesta Kitty, Tony G, morning.
What's up?
It's morning? It probably is where you are. Didi Razzle Dazzle, Allison Metcalf Palumbo, Jana Hicksburg, Sweet Liberty, Goosebumps 801, Jennifer Matthews, glad you are here. Professor Patty's in the house. All right. Mark Hardman, there you are. Wouldn't be a show without you. Onzi Sanders, Yvette, Jennifer Matthews, you made one. And she says, Casper, where are you out of, Casper? I'm in Ohio. 30-degree wind chill for us. Man, that's brutal.
Oh, in Ohio? Hi, yikes. I'm in Billings, Montana. Last year, it was 50 below for almost 5 weeks.
Oh, that's ridiculous, man. I do not know that I could pull that off. I really don't. Kevin Hawthorne, Lakeland, Florida. Good to have you here. Jamie Palmer, glad you're here. Alicia, Andrea Loy. There you are. Sandy Wendy, SJ. So happy you're here. And I think we could pretty much get this show under the road.
I used to live in Delaware, Ohio.
Did you?
Yeah, outside of Columbus. Yeah, we lived on this preacher's property. His name was Leroy Jenkins. He was one of those hit you on the forehead and you're cured.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was Leroy Jenkins.
Those are always fun.
Yeah.
Bam! 10 months. Diane, DS Kitty, 10 months, man. Time flies. You have been here for the almost the entirety of the Reese and Tommy show. You know what? Casper and I were talking right before we went live about the Reese and Tommy show. You know what? It's a lot of fun working with somebody that you love and having the ability to create something that sticks around. You know what I mean?
There's no couple on YouTube that can hold an audience better than you two. And not that it's all about that, but because it's genuine, there's integrity, it's real, it's emotional, it's just everything, man. I'm just so grateful to be a part of it. That's all.
You know what? Happy. You know, you're the one person around here that actually knows what's going on, and that's refreshing. In fact, I got an announcement to make. You people aren't going to believe this, but you remember that stuff we were going to do with the ASMR, so that the people that wanted to fall asleep listening to Alice in Wonderland, or to me, my voice doing some positive stuff, talking about changing your life or getting sober or any of those things. Well, that ASMR, those ASMR tapes are going to be a reality, and they're going to be a reality very quickly, because you see now I have somebody around here that's intelligent.
Yep.
And can actually make that happen. So that is coming, folks. You'll be able to fall asleep with the lifeboat. Pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Tommy, oh my gosh, I saw Reese live today. Wait, is this a dream? Somebody pinched me. You know something? Honestly, I appreciate that compliment, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. No joke, but I think most of that's my fiance. She's I can't look away. I really can't. And there are times when she'll be doing something that's really hard to listen to, and I still can't leave. It's she's incredible at what she does. So, hey, Shell, good to see you. This is going to be really ugly, right? This is going to be some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today isn't going to be fun to listen to. These attorneys that work for big, powerful men. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, right? We've got Mark Agnifilo. Mark Agnifilo works as the lead attorney on the Sean Combs case. Not to be confused with the civil stuff. He's got a different attorney for that, because if you have tons of victims that are all women, usually you get somebody to defend you who's a woman. But in this, in the criminal case, he's going with Mark Agnifilo. And Mark Agnifilo wrote a letter that we talked about. And it was plain and simple. It was victim shaming. And then if you didn't catch my show this morning, we were talking about the Alexander brothers, right? The Alexander brothers out of Florida have a case that is very similar to Diddy. They're very similar in that these three individuals used a really nasty chemical, gamma hydroxybutyrate, just like Diddy did, to incapacitate women. But they have clips of films of these guys where, and I use film, you know what I mean? They have video of these guys having to pose women so that they could have intercourse with them, because these women are not conscious enough. They can literally pose them and move them. And they took pictures of these women when they're unconscious, and a lot of stuff that is just really a bust. And to hear an attorney say, well, in one of those videos, you can see the woman stand up after intercourse. You know, the things that these guys are saying are so akin to the old days of, you know, well, she looks like she's having fun. It's disturbing. It really is. It's disturbing. It's not fun to talk about. Casper.
Yes. We just, I mean, literally in the last 2 minutes, got a letter dropped by the United States Attorney on the Diddy case.
Nice.
I guess in response to the Agnifilo letter, like literally just now.
Nice.
So I'm going to send that over to my laptop, and then that is crazy.
You know what?
Yeah.
Probably checks out. So there's a lot of back and forth going on. And the reason that there's a lot of back and forth going on is because this was a way for the defense to shame Cassie Ventura, who we all assume is victim one. And I think that you can almost stop assuming at this point, right? But these are the Cassie Ventura Smex tapes, right? The freak off tapes. And they have looked at 8 of them. What they're saying is, we want these 8 tapes, right? Because they prove my client is innocent. And the reason they prove my client is innocent is because Cassie is loving her. She's having the time of her life on these videos, which is really, I mean, borders on Cro-Magnon kind of stuff to say, especially after we saw the video of Cassie Ventura getting the absolute hell beat out of her, right, by a man with a towel around his waist in the Continental Hotel, right? It has been alleged that beating took place when she refused to participate in a freak-off. That is what is being alleged. There was a freak-off in the room she was getting away from. And when she doesn't want to look like she's having a good time and she's performing, there are cameras, multiple camera angles. This woman is performing for a camera or she's in trouble. And I think the entire world seems to get this. I understand that a lawyer's job is to put a vigorous defense up, right? I mean, I think we all get that. But I think sometimes it crosses a line. And I think Bill kind of sums this up. Agnifilo is a creep. Yeah, I mean, he is doing his job. I think that you can do your job. I watched a panel talking about this, and I was really kind of impressed because one of the people on the panel was an attorney, and he said, I've had to represent clients in the exact same situation before. And there is a way you can do this with class. He didn't. This letter that was filed, if you really believe everything that is in that letter, if you believe that Cassie Ventura is having a great time and that this is consensual, so this is obviously just revenge or a money grab or any of those stupid things that you want to come up with, right? Okay, so let's say you believe all of that. If you're a class act, you could have filed that letter under seal, right? That letter to the judge didn't need to be seen by the entire world. That letter was put out for one reason and one reason only, and that was to embarrass Cassie Ventura and try to make her look like a slut. I mean, keep it real. That's what he's shooting for. Katie Much, thank you so much. You know, I did not know you were in New Zealand. I'm bad at this. Honestly. And every time I'm wrong about somebody, I always assume they're from the Midwest. I blame Reese for that. Reese always brings everything back to the Midwest. It's her fault. That's when you know he's not a good lawyer. Roger, I think maybe that's when you know that they're not a good person, right? Honestly, I think that this gets back to, I understand you got to vigorously defend your attorney. I don't think you have to do it. I don't think you have to give up humanity to make that happen. And in the case of the Alexander brothers, right, which we're going to touch on as well, I think that what the lawyer did in that case is even more egregious. I really do. Some of the references, I mean, to say, hey, she was able to get up. You got it, Dan?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Nice. So basically, we have the Agnifilo response to the request for the redactions, but this letter is a declaration talking about the BOP's monitoring of the defendant's communications in custody and the planning of the MDC sweep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's the MDC, and it talks about the MDC sweep in October.
And this was filed by Agnifilo?
No, this is filed by the U.S. Attorney. By
the U.S. Attorney's Office. Okay. You know so just a quick background on this. There was a sweep at MDC Brooklyn, right? And this was an interagency sweep. So they brought in sheriffs, they brought in DEA, they brought in guys with dogs. Now, I've been at tons of yards where this happened. I know you've been at tons of yards where this happens, where they just show up with a crap load of different, it's like, and everybody freaks out. They're like, what the hell is going on? And then the rumors start flying, right? Yeah. No, they're in here to get this dude. He's a shot caller from all the BS.
Yeah.
Inmate.com, the fellas call it.
Oh, yeah, inmate.com. Yeah. I haven't heard that in a while.
Just hit me as I was.
Man, I don't know how true it is, man. I got it on inmate.com.
I got it off of inmate.com. Yeah. But they're saying, yeah. But during that raid, they came across a bunch of notebooks. Now, when you go to commissary, you can buy legal pads. You can buy composition notebooks. If you are working with your attorney, you get a composition notebook, and then you get a big white sticker from your counselor about this big, and you write legal big as hell across it. Then you slide it into a manila envelope, and you write across the outside of the manila envelope, legal work, right? And if you do that twice, they're probably not going to, they're going to take your notebook out and they're going to shake it, right? They're not going to read it, but they'll shake it. They'll flip through it. In theory, they're not going to read it. They're sure as crap not going to take photos of it because that's a bust that could get the person literally off. You cannot be doing that. But nothing was written legal anywhere on there until after the raid, after the photos were taken. And they have that because the pictures are time-stamped. You follow me? So they went in, did the raid, Casper, but didn't pull any of the notebooks or anything out. They just went in and snapped photos with an iPhone and took pictures of everything there. So as far as the diddler knows, he's still using the phone with no problem, and he's still taking notes and doing all this. He doesn't know they have it. All that doesn't get brought up until they start talking about a bail hearing, and they give them the old upside the head. Oh, you've been using other people's phones. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I was watching a lot of that Surprise Witness when that was all going down.
It's a pretty wild thing. I have actually had the misfortune when I was going through the bank robbery trial stuff. I had a relationship with my attorney, and once they found out about them, it was the same kind of thing. They started to listen and record things that we thought that they couldn't, based on the fact that we had privilege. And to hear that stuff played, or to see it when you're in court and they go, we'd like you to hear a recording. You go, like your whole world just, it's like, no, they're going to. And that's where the diddler's at. And that's where his team is at. Because a lot of the things that have been written down in this, allegedly, I don't know where my allegedly mug is. I have my allegedly. Allegedly, he had escape plans in here, bro. You might doodle in a notebook, right? If I were to jump out this window and I were to go down. But allegedly, he was like planning an escape, allegedly. And there's all kinds of, You're not listening, but that's okay.
Me? I'm listening.
I'm just messing with you. I'm not you. I'm messing with. I'm messing with Shell.
I'm all ears. I mean, literally all ears. These are big ears.
It's a pretty big head, though. If you had smaller ears, it wouldn't match at all, dude.
Oh,
with
man,
all due respect, that is a good size.
Would look
dome.
La goofy. It is a big head. It's about 8 terabytes.
I don't know if you remember the day, but we were. You had a hat in there, and there was this. We were all trying to get this hat on. I remember you trying to put it on, going, "Oh my god, dude, that hat has a zip code." I'm kidding. Before any of you get mad at me, if you knew how bad people talk to one another inside, like the cutting down of people, nothing. A guy walks in with no arm, like missing an arm. Instantly, the second he walks in, they're like, "Who's lefty?" I mean, every time I'm like, "Oh, dude, come on, man!" Right? But they're fairly vicious. They really are.
Yeah.
So back to this. They're terrified that they're going to not only get allegedly an escape plan, but also allegedly he had a hit list of sorts. And that hit list of sorts said stuff like, this person has to be contacted sort of to threaten, and this person has to be contacted sort of to pay off. And it was a list of who they were going to go through, and it read a lot like the witness list.
Yeah.
No, he is beautiful. I'm not. I'm just picking. He's one of my favorite people.
Who?
You. So we find ourselves. Hey, Kathy. So now we find ourselves where there's been a back and forth, and the defense had filed that this whole case basically is a wrap as far as they're concerned, because the client and lawyer privilege has been violated. So obviously he can't get a fair trial. The judge at the time said, hey, if you're going to make representations in my court, make sure they're accurate. That statement was in reference to writing legal on something after the fact, right? That's bad juju. And if the lawyer knew that he did that, that's really bad juju, right?
Yeah.
I don't know whether or not the lawyer, saw that. But so the letter that is just been filed, that is going to be the response from the prosecution. What do you got? What is it basically saying?
So the cover sheet says, we write in response to the government's letter requesting. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. This says, sorry about that. It says the government respectfully submits the attached declarations in response to the court's January 3rd, 2025 order, docket number 123. I can pull that up. And in further support of its opposition to the defendant's motion for a hearing and other relief. At the request of the BOP, the government respectfully seeks to file the declaration attached as Exhibit B under seal. Based on communications with counsel from the BOP, yada, 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 the government understands that the information contained therein reveals sensitive law enforcement techniques and reveals the identity of employees involved in the ongoing BOP-led investigation.
So Agnifilo asked the prosecution to do this. If you remember, I did a show about a week ago, and I said, this is a small win for Diddy. It's as close to a win as Diddy has ever got. Now, it's not really a win, but it looks that way to the general public. this Subramanian is going to get every single I dotted. He is going to cross every T. He's going to write opinions on everything because this is the case of his life. And apparently he's that guy anyway. This is kind of how he's always been as a lawyer. Only this time he knows the whole world's doing this number, right? There's nobody out there that's not looking over his shoulder. And I think that this is a formality. He wants to make sure that the defense doesn't feel as if he blew off that confidentiality thing as if it was all BS, right?
Right.
So he's saying, okay, I may agree with the prosecution, but I need you to give me a little bit more to back that up. And I think that that's probably what we're looking at here.
Yeah, because then it says about that's Exhibit B, and then it says about Exhibit A. It says finally, with respect to Exhibit A, the prosecution team declaration, the government provides information requested by the court, but in doing so does not waive any applicable privilege, including law enforcement privilege and deliberative process privileges. And then it just Exhibit A it starts off with the prosecution investigator just saying, I've been an assistant state's attorney for 10 years. I've been a member of this, just kind of like validating or whatever that she's an officer.
The VI or whatever. Curriculum vitae. Yeah, curriculum vitae.
And then it's just BOP's monitoring it, and then it just goes down. It's probably a really good read. It's probably be a lot to read right now, but I'm down to read it, but it's probably a pretty good.
It's just more, but it's more of the same. Then this is, we're not going to see most of it because most of it is going to be under seal.
Right. Just Exhibit B. Exhibit A is not under seal. Exhibit B is. But it does say informant took photographs of certain defendants' papers. I don't know. It talks a lot. This Exhibit A does have a lot of information in it. Maybe while you're talking, I'll have Chat GPT write a summary of it.
That's the spirit.
Come on, man.
No, you know what? The intelligence level, right?
Yeah.
I know 3 of the words you just said, so we're good.
Yeah. I'm going to do it right now.
Well, we're not going to know what Exhibit A is, Lady Warrior, because it is under seal. Now, here's what happens with a lot of these cases, right? This gets clouded a lot, especially because as a convict, if we see under seal, right, instantly the person's a piece of shit, right? Oh, he can't be trusted.
Oh, yeah.
I got his docket sheet. There's 3 things on there that are under seal. Now, the truth of the matter is, that's usually the case. Right? 99 out of 100 times, that's probably not a good thing, but it's not 100 out of 100 times. Yeah, as an example, a lot of people in their youth have adverse childhood experiences, ACEs, right? And that could be SA, that could be R. And if a person is going to go in and take or make a statement to the court, or the court is going to discuss something from someone's past that was traumatic, they're going to seal that. They're usually not going to put out that your uncle did this to you or whatever. Anything that is super private will end up going under seal. My guess is going to be that the Exhibit A stuff probably has a lot of cops' names in it, right? Things like that. There were different agencies that went in on this raid. There's a really good chance that they're going to have to list all of those people. What did they do for a living? How long have they done it? Have they conducted raids like this before? All of that stuff. And it would be, well, for lack of a better term, it would be doxing all of these people, right? And it would also be letting all of the inmates who are inside the BOP know procedures that are done, and they don't let that happen ever. If ever there's going to be anything printed that is going to show us how SIS, which is the investigative service inside of a prison, like the feds or like the Central Intelligence Agency, they're not going to want any of their secrets out. They seal stuff like that at the drop of a hat. What do we got, Casper?
Yep. So it basically, in summary, it just says it's monitoring the defendant's communications. The Bureau of Prison alerted the prosecution team in October about 2024 about the defendant's attempts to circumvent monitoring protocols and use coded language potentially for witness intimidation. The prosecution issued a subpoena for records and was involved in liaising.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Going in between the two of them.
Between the BOP.
Yeah.
And then it talks about how the MDC had planned this sweep back in June of 2024. Yeah, and you know why they're doing that? That way they can say, you know, oh,
This
this
was way
isn't
before we even arrested Diddy, right? The arrest for Diddy was in
not a
September of the
targeted,
16th.
yeah, it's not a targeted attack and sweep on him. And then just a search of the defendant's unit, and then post-sweep discovery. After the MDC sweep, the prosecution was informed by Investigator 1, a BOP agent, on November 3rd about the items seized from the defendant's area, including photographs of papers and an address book that contained potentially incriminating information about defendant's plans to discredit witnesses. These materials were forwarded to the prosecution team for review.
All right. That's exactly, this is the big deal in this, right? Your escape plan is stupid. Honestly, even, you know how many times somebody makes an escape plan? It's almost a fantasy that stupid people do in notebooks. And they're going to throw the book at you. If you're an inmate, they're going to take away good time. They're going to ship you somewhere. They're going to do all kinds of things that are unpleasant. But he's not in prison. He's in an MDC. He's in a detention center. He's waiting to go to court. And how you're going to try to sway witnesses, that is a massive, massive issue with courts.
Yeah.
Nothing angers them more than this. This is you going like this, right? Screw your system, right? I did what I wanted to for all of those years, and now I'm going to do whatever I want again, and there's nothing that you can do about it. They do not put up with this. This is something that they'll prosecute for that.
Yeah.
Witness tampering, 100 out of 100 times. Go ahead.
I follow judges every day, and a couple of those judges, like if you break any kind of, you know, bond condition of, you know, contact with your victim or anything like that, or, you know, because a lot of those guys, what do you mean? I see her every day. We live in the same house. Well, you weren't even supposed to be there, fool. So now they think, well, now it's too late. You've already convinced her, you know, and of course the victim's trying to drop the charges, you know.
Right.
So yeah, they flip out, but it's a kind of a gray area, and you know, it's like all you can do is hold them in contempt, give them, you know, 90 days. It just depends on how severe the case is.
Right.
But you know, if they don't have a witness or a victim willing to, you know, testify at a trial, they're really limited to how they can prosecute.
Yeah.
So they do freak out. I guess
they freak out. They get really, really dicey about it. And so just to bring everyone else up to speed as well, Sean Diddy Combs allegedly knew at about December of the previous year, right? So Cassie came with the lawsuit at him in November. The lawsuit was settled. He knew immediately after that, right? His attorneys who helped settle with the lawsuit and all that said to him, look, man, they're going to pick this up. These aren't charges from 500 years ago, man. This just happened. They're going to end up picking these things up. It's within the statute of limitations. So he had all this time to prepare. What did he do? Well, apparently he left a lot of the evidence in his house. He continued to have freak-offs, and he lived as if none of this was real. Exhibit A, Lady Warrior, is going to be more than likely the stuff they took pictures of, the stuff that they can't have the world seeing. So it says that there's this notebook that they took all of the photos of. I would imagine that's going to be Exhibit A, right? This is going to be the documents that if they were to, the world were to see those, we would be compromising the case, kind of a thing. So that has to be under seal. That would be my guess. What do you think, Casper? That and anything having to do with officers or such.
It absolutely. That's exactly what it is. I was trying to see if it said anything more that was more specific, but there was nothing in the cover letter.
Yeah, no, that's got to be what it is. Because listen, this is the judge has said, the judge has asked the prosecution to better explain why all of this is legit. In order to do that, I would imagine you're going to have to hand over the notebook or the pictures of the notebook that shows the alleged crimes, right? But they're not going to show that to the world because it's going to be a list of people's names that you're going to be doxing, right? The whole witness list is going to be on there, allegedly.
It's actually, I'm sorry, it's Exhibit B that's under seal. Exhibit A is what I just read the summary of.
Okay, so B, A, B.
Yeah, I just don't want, you know, other creators being like, oh, yeah, those guys, man, they had it all wrong.
Oh, they'll do it. Right. It's the,
I mean, not that we care. Yeah.
It's the Casper show. He had me on as a guest. Go ahead, Trash. I am kidding. Allegedly, that's right. See that? She gets it.
Allegedly.
So listen, where we're at. So that's the new filing, and we got that knocked out. I'd like to talk about the. Can we pull up the or talk about the letter that Agnifilo wrote?
Yes.
Basically, the one that's demanding the freak off tapes. Now, keep in mind, people, if let's say your client, right? Because we're talking about Agnifilo now. Let's say your client is accused of CP. You guys know what that is, right? That's the stuff we can't talk about on here, and it is victimization of kids on film, right? If your client is accused of that, and he is accused of manufacturing it, there's going to be evidence that has underage victims in it. You're not going to hand that tape over to the freak that made it as part of the evidence for obvious reasons, right? Now, that's the most extreme example, but this is the same kind of a thing. They're not going to be comfortable handing these things over to somebody that already allegedly victimized Cassie Ventura with the use of these videos. So what they do is they say, you can come in and view the material in our office, or they'll say independent office. It's going to be somebody that isn't the prosecution, isn't the defense, and you're going to go to some third location to go and look at this stuff, right? But they're not going to let Sean Combs have copies of the videos of him allegedly victimizing Cassie Ventura. But that's exactly what they want. And their argument is we have to have this because, well, damn it, it proves my client is innocent because she's so damn into it. Right?
Right. I'm just trying to get to share my screen.
See that, people? The brains of the operation. Now, the problem is that the defense is getting this information out into the public without showing the video, right? I can give you a description of something and tell you everything that's happening in it. The prosecution's argument is, hey, you're re-victimizing Cassie Ventura, right? You shouldn't be able to, to say this stuff. And the defense, you got to admit, this is a halfway decent argument. The defense says, what are you talking about? The whole world's talking about these freak offs because you leaked it, right? The prosecution did tell the world about the freak offs, and people like us have been talking about it since. It's almost a legit argument, but to allow them to leak stuff out, especially since they were the people that asked for that.
That's I shared it to you. You have to share it.
Well, you have to tell me these things. I'm not very bright. Okay. Right? You're gonna have to tell me these things. I'm not particularly bright. As my fiance says, we can't share screens.
There we go.
She can make people laugh. Can you read that?
You want me to read it? Yeah, I can read it.
Well, let me see if I can blow this up. If I can blow it up, I can. Let's see here. Yeah.
No, I can read it.
Okay.
Okay, this is from Agnifilo to Judge Subramanian.
Subramanian, yeah.
Yeah. We write in response to the government's letter requesting redactions to the defense's January 14th letter motion at the direction of the court. The letter motion has been refiled with the government's requested redactions. Nevertheless, we write in opposition to the government's proposed redactions as overbroad and inconsistent with the presumption of public access to judicial documents and seek leave to refile the letter motion with narrow redactions. Now, do you want this letter or do you want that initial letter that had the redactions?
The initial letter. The initial letter. Okay. Please.
Yeah.
This one. Yeah. This is their response to that. And what they're saying is, right. Yeah, we'd be more than happy to pare this down. We'll get rid of some of the dialogue and some of the stuff that we described. We will put under seal to protect victim one more. However, then they go on because they want to make their little BS arguments or whatever. But this is a game, and that's sad because this is a game that they're playing with people's lives, right? I mean, Cassie Ventura can't be happy that all of this is going on, I would imagine. And they're very happy to do anything they can to try to taint the jury pool. They would say, of course, we're doing the same thing, we being everybody that hates Sean Combs. But it is a did I lose Casper?
No, I'm here. I'm just getting that.
Well, good, because I'm not particularly I did lose one of my computers, so hold on one second here. Do 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 do. Yeah, the screen sharing concept to me is something that's absolutely fascinating. However, it does take some brains. The Reese and I, though, can share a bowl of soup. Huge fans. And we can talk about nothing or everything.
What
And
date
never
did it
run out
say
of
that
stuff.
letter was on? The 14th.
Beg your pardon?
Oh, I was just talking to myself.
Thank you, people, for your patience. And I think I got it back. I think I did. So is this the same one or is this the new one? You got this?
What did you lose? One of your screens?
Yeah, one of my screens, but it's back. And are you changing out the letter? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
So what he's setting up, so what he's going to be setting up right now, people, instead is what I was talking about in the thumbnail, right? This is the victim shaming that I'm talking about. And there are rules that are supposed to stop exactly what this person is doing. Now, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, people. I just broke the law a lot. But I am absolutely convinced that if he is not breaking the rules, the local rules in terms of humiliating a victim, especially a victim in this kind of case. I mean, the times have changed, right? If you watch the documentary on Diddy, when Diddy's father passed away, the headline in the paper said, local dope pusher dies, or something along those lines, or local drug dope pusher murdered. The way that they have really have changed how things are reported on and verbiage and things of that nature. But it used to be where they would hack on people and especially victims and people who accuse somebody of the R word. For years, the popular way to defend your client was to bring in everyone that person had ever slept with, dated, held hands with, gave a kiss to. And the defense would say, obviously, if she enjoyed it with Casper and she enjoyed it with Charlie, she would have enjoyed it with this guy, so it couldn't be the R word. I know that sounds horrific and disgusting, but that's the way it went for a really long period of time until they started to enact things called the R Shield laws. And they're supposed to keep these kind of things from happening. This is the reason that 63% of people who are SA'd don't come forward, right? When they talk about having to relive the crime and relive the experience over and over again, we get in our head them sitting on a stand and people asking them questions, and that's horrific. But that's not all they go through. They go through starts and stops. They go through getting ready to go and testify to find out that they're going to put it off for 120 days, and the continuances and a roller coaster ride that most of these people will bail on before they ever get to a point where they're comfortable dealing with it. And you can understand why. Tiffy Tiff, you can see the Diddy documentary on Peacock Network. On the Peacock Network. It is called The Making of a Bad Boy. Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy. And, it's a well-made documentary. They definitely seem to, I don't know. There are people that they went really light on. There are people that they ignored. And then there are, they did some odd things. I was really surprised to see how well they treated Courtney Burgess. If you've been following all this, you know who he is. But Courtney Burgess and a man named Todd had put out a book, last name Todd, had put out a book claiming to be the last words of Kim Porter, from her diaries and her diary entries. And it became the #1 bestseller on Amazon. It was massive. They sold, tons and tons of these things. We don't know whether or not these really are her words. There are a lot of people who say they are or whatever. And there seems to be some evidence that would point in that direction. Unfortunately, this guy Burgess, who says he was the one that originally received the book, has told 9 different versions of this story. And as everybody knows, once you start BSing, you can never get it back. No one's ever going to believe you. And this dude's done too much of that. And personally, I don't blame anybody. I'm having a real hard time believing the dude also. What are we doing there, Casper?
I'm getting there. I had too many tabs open. Pacer wouldn't let me have. I was.
Let me explain
breaking
what
their
Pacer is
rules.
to these people, because Pacer has plays a very large role in the prison system. So Pacer will be worth explaining to people. So when a guy comes in, you always hear the term, "We're going to check your paperwork," right? So a guy comes rolling up into the unit. Normally, he will have his paperwork with him,
There
but
we
they've
go.
been making
Right.
that more difficult and more difficult and more difficult, right? So if you don't have your paperwork with you, or if your paperwork looks like something doesn't smell right, because sometimes that happens, the fellows will call their girl and say, "Hey, can you get me the Pacer on so and so?" And now it allows you to pull up some documents. There we go.
Yeah, and I can even make that a little bigger, I think.
That's what she said. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It was good though.
Long day and my back is killing me.
Wow, look at that, man. I am almost a pro.
You know something, dude? If you're not, you'll do until the pro gets here.
Yeah, so yeah, that's right.
Quibs, did you get that? All right, go ahead.
Do you want me to read this? This is pretty long.
That's all right.
Let's
I mean, some of it is just going to be legalese, but I would like to get to the part where he starts saying why he wants this. When he starts to talk about Cassie Ventura, the victim shaming part is pretty damn.
Yeah.
Egregious.
Yep. That is on. Man, oh, where's my one with notes? I have one that has notes, but no, I will. Any fair-minded viewer of the videos will quickly conclude that the prosecution of Mr. Combs is both sexist and. Here we go.
Are we 100% sure that the positive that the government leaked the Cassie video? I don't think the government leaked the Cassie video for 1 second. No, that's something that has been that Mark Agnifilo has said 100 times. He said it in the press. He's accused them of that in court. He's filed papers about it. Look, that doesn't make any sense. Honestly, you know what makes sense? Cassie Ventura's lawyer leaked that video. That makes sense. The whole world was trashing his client, and he had nothing to lose. He let that thing fly, and boy, it changed everything, didn't it? But I think Cassie Ventura's lawyer would have been the one to do it. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. It is troubling that the government has had the evidence since December 2023 and nonetheless brought these charges. The video evidence refutes the claim that victim 1 was forced to participate and can only be squared with her account if one assumes, as the government apparently does, that certain women cannot consent despite all indications to the contrary. Arguing that women are motivated by the loss of their livelihood and housing or experience abuse outside freak-offs, they cannot consent, and that is sex trafficking. The government's view also depends on the character. That was kind of convoluted, that last sentence, but the government's view also depends on the characterization of freak-offs as dirty, disgusting, or inherently unsavory, and therefore must have involved some amount of coercion. See indictment, describing freak-offs as elaborate and produced sex performance that were arranged, directed, and sometimes lasted multiple days.
Here's the thing. This is where the minutia, I think, bores people sometimes. But when we start talking about coercion, if your record label owns you, right? You signed a 10-album deal, and your career is hinging on whether or not you do what this man asks. And when you have tried to deviate from that, he has beaten you. I'm a convict, right? I didn't bother going to law school. But this doesn't seem like a difficult thing for me. It seems like this is why this letter to me is so foul, right? This is grandstanding. He doesn't believe this any more than anybody else. He knows that videotape of Cassie Ventura, if they can't get that thrown out, this case is dead. Because we know what happens when she says no, right? Yeah. I used this illustration last week. I said something really stupid to a cop who punched me in the face, right? I was handcuffed. I just got first time in prison. I was a state joint. And I lipped off and said something about maybe wanting to do something with his daughter someday. He snapped my head back so fast, bro. And my hands were still cuffed behind my back, right?
He must have had daughters.
He did. He did. Yeah. If you had walked in 2 seconds after he punched me in the face, you would have said, you have never met a more compliant and a more agreeable inmate. This guy likes cops.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had walked in 2 minutes before that, you would have found out what my motivation was, right?
Yeah.
To be a good little inmate.
Yeah.
We know what the motivation was for Cassie Ventura to look like she was having a good time on that tape.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing that in 2025, these are the tactics that are being used by somebody that's supposed to be married to a woman, right? Who handles nothing but human tea cases. How the hell do they have dinner together?
Well, and then this next paragraph is extremely, I mean, I get it. He's a defense lawyer. He's fighting for his client. So there's that, but like you said,
disclaimer.
Right. It says any fair-minded viewer of the videos will quickly conclude that the prosecution of Mr. Combs is both sexist and puritanical. It is sexist because the government's theory perpetrates stereotypes of female victimhood and lack of agency. The prosecution reflects a paternalistic view that the government is here to protect women who cannot be trusted to make their own decisions about sex and are not capable of consenting to sex that the prosecutors view as outside the norm. But we all know different.
It's almost embarrassing. And I mean that. It's almost embarrassing that I would like to believe that he's a yes man. Honestly, I'd like to believe he's a yes man, and this is the pressure that is being put on him by Sean Combs. Because we're going to talk about the Alexander brothers here in a minute, and we know that's exactly what's happening there. Their attorney is going into the Southern District of New York and talking like a dude in the locker room because that's what these guys are forcing this dude to do. He showed up before there was discovery. He showed up without his clients. He did everything you would not do because his clients forced him to do it. I don't know that that's the case. It would make you feel better professionally if maybe this dude, if Diddy was really the one that was forcing his hand on this. But if this is the lawyer's play, I think he is going to turn off a jury to the point where he's going to be lucky. I mean, honestly, you're going to lose the jury real fast if you start talking about her having fun on those tapes. Yeah. I just don't believe that for a second that that's going to fly. Put a 2 in the chat if you think I am puritanical. if I'm honestly, if this is offensive to you, put a 2 in the chat. Or if this is something that you think I am overblowing, you can give me a 3. But their argument is this is sexist, right? This woman could be in a situation with 2 dudes, be in total control. There might be a couple of Bang-O-Matic 2000s in the room, but you know what? She organized all that too, right? She can be in control and just choosing to be dominated and abused, because that's just how some people get down, and you shouldn't be kink shaming. But didn't
it say somewhere at some point, I don't know if it was this document, that she was the dominant and that he was the submissive in some like weird. And I want to say
what they're saying is that she was dominant in the videos, right? So let's say that's the truth, right? It has been established, it has already been set up that before he gets there, a team goes up, sets up the entire place. We know this, right? This has been talked about. You find me sexy? What number for that one? She says all of the right things. I love Reese. I really do. You don't even need a number for that one, babe.
Oh my gosh, the emojis,
right?
It was missing the squirt, but anyway.
I didn't see those. I wasn't even looking.
Eggplant. I couldn't remember the name eggplant, so I had to say emoji.
Yeah, hold on one second.
Getting old.
I saw a good question. No offense. I don't understand this about Cassie. The only video I saw was the one that where he was beating. Okay, so let me explain this.
Right, exactly.
No, you're 100% right. You're 100% right.
Juxtapose that with these, right?
Yeah. We know of that one. The beatdown, we all know about the beatdown, and we've all seen it. The videos that they're talking about are either 8 or 9, depending on who you believe. These are videos that were turned over to the prosecution by Cassie Ventura. The prosecution alleges that this was in their possession for a very long period of time, right? And the reason that it was in her possession for a long period of time is because she liked watching it. She was having so much fun, she wanted to keep these as mementos. these kind of intuitive leaps are really okay for us to do on YouTube, right? Because we're just idiots on YouTube. But for a lawyer to make these kind of assumptions and to do it in a courtroom isn't going to fly. It's going to make a lot of people really angry. And do you know what? Just keep it real. If you take a 12-person jury, I would imagine that the prosecution is going to do everything within its power to stack that jury, if at all possible, with women. Would you agree? They would like to see more than half, if at all possible. Maybe 7 or 8 women would make them happy. I think that they're going to want women on that jury. And if you get 7 or 8 women on a jury, the odds that at least one of them have had to endure this kind of crap to some degree in their life is going to be highly likely. And these stupid kind of male, I have not ever read a book about trauma kind of responses that Agnifilo is spouting off. I think he has the chance of destroying any chance that that Sean Combs has with a jury. He's not going to be a likable guy to start with. If they start hating his attorney, this thing's going to be a wrap.
Yeah.
Scene reported that Rihanna was 15 and met with Voldemort and was given the option in his high rise, 2 ways out of the office. 1, sign this contract, or 2, you're going out the window. They were on the 24th floor at the time. This is a real clip. This is not an alleged thing. She said this on a clip right after signing the contract. And she was in an interview with that evil woman. What's her name? Someone will help me with this. She was good friends with everybody she should. Naomi Campbell. She was doing an interview, I think, at the time with, if it wasn't Naomi Campbell, it was one of those.
What's her name?
Yes, you got it. The other one.
Yep. The other one.
Good. As long as we're on the same page. I don't care if none of you got it. He did. I'm a YouTuber, damn it. Come on, somebody help me. No, it's not Oprah.
Yeah, she has a talk show. She's a talk show. She's in Hollywood.
She's at Tyra Banks. Thank you.
Tyra Banks, yes, thank you.
I'm going back someday.
Yeah, she actually, anyway. She went to a Catholic school really close to where I live.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Christina Applegate went to my high school too. I'm just name dropping now though.
You know what, dude? You think you're cool.
Yeah, I don't. Tracy Lords also went to my high school. So.
All right, now you're cool.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Tracy Lords is, that's good.
Yeah.
Lady Warrior says, I could never be a defense attorney. I like the truth too much. Yeah, that's a lock. They like to live in the gray area. We know what they would say. Honestly, I was married to a defense attorney. Do you know what a defense attorney would say? Even Agnifilo. Nothing that I'm saying is not true. That's what Agnifilo would say. He would say, when I look at these tapes, it looks like she's having fun. That's what he would say. He's directing this. Do you understand? This is for the guy's gratification. It's got nothing to do with her. He's directing this. If she's looking at the camera, looking a certain way, she has been told to look at a camera and look that way. Her fingernails painted a certain way, right? The room's got to be, there's candles got to be there. And the guy's a wackadoodle. He's in the corner rubbing out a giggity while all this is going on. But this is his get down, is to be the director and the guy that is steering all of this. Got a damn screw loose.
And he's paying. And he's paying for
it. Bill Herrera wants to know if you dated either of them.
No, I didn't. I did not.
If can we? I'm gonna to pivot.
I have dated someone semi-famous though.
You know who went to my high school who was kind of famous was the Jewish American princess from Spaceballs. Remember the girl that played the Jewish American princess from Spaceballs?
Yeah.
Daphne Zuniga went to the same high school as I did.
Yeah. No, I dated a girl that was on the TV show Jag for a while. Well, she was only on X-Files before when I was dating her, but after she dumped me, because I was just a maniac, she got a show where she was on Jag. Yeah. True story.
Run the World says Scott Peterson went to my high school. Did I bone her? No, Reese, I did not bone her. No, you know the only famous people I slept with, Reese. In fact, you're the reason that
Steven Tyler
You're
Steven
the only
Tyler.
reason I know the famous people that I slept with. Steven Tyler. You can't prove that. How many times have I said you can't prove that? Right? Besides, it wasn't a gay thing. I was trying to get tickets.
Yeah. I mean, they were huge then.
This was the Done with Mirrors tour. Don't mess with me.
Yeah.
It was really hard getting tickets. All right, I'm kidding. That's right, Jennifer Aniston. We all know that. I was, allegedly, it's alleged by my fiance that I slept with Jennifer Aniston. Where the hell that came from? But she started that before anybody picks on me. That was actually a completely off the top of Reese's head. On a show that I was not on one day, she told the world that I slept with Jennifer Aniston and Portia de Rossi. Not sure how that came about.
Yeah. I just seen there. Wasn't that a Scientologist on Jag? No, she was not the main female star. She was the one that dated the chubby lawyer on there. She had white hair.
I loved that show when it was on. I really did. I used to watch that all the time. Combs is a narcissist, misogynist, psychopath. He would gladly make Agnifilo push the narrative that she was down that behavior. Yeah, and I'll tell you something else. I wholeheartedly believe, right? I wholeheartedly believe that Diddy wants these tapes like a serial killer wants to look at a file of pictures of people that he had dismembered. I think that there is a sick kind of satisfaction that these people get. We know that when the Masterson case was going on, one of the demands that he made, as you remember, they can't call the cops, right? So everything is done in-house with Scientology. And one of the things, the demands that he was ready to settle and he was ready to go through this, but he wanted them he wanted to hear his victims tell the story because he thought it would be healing and he would know that way he would feel the pain and all of this crap. He sold this as, this was going to be a growth thing. He wanted to listen to these people have to recount what had been done to them. He was a sick bastard. And I think that that's really more than anything why Diddy wants these tapes. What expert is going to look at these tapes and say, yes, she's having fun? Do you think that person exists? Yes, he is taking trophies. It's exactly what it is. The guy was taking trophies. And the expert who can say that this person is having fun, the expert who can say this person isn't being coerced, even an expert who can say this person isn't on a controlled substance. I don't think those things are possible. So why do you need these tapes?
Yeah. You're right. There really is
no reason. I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong. If you think I'm way off base on this, you can tell me. But if you were the prosecution, wouldn't you stipulate to it? I would go, hey, before you waste any of your time, I will stipulate to the fact that she probably looks like she's having a good time on that tape.
Yep.
We're done. I will stipulate to that because she has to look like she's having a good time on that tape because she is being coerced. She's being threatened. She's being bullied. She's being all of those things. And we're not doing this based on speculation. We got a damn video. And
because they could get a victim specialist to give them count after count of, you know what I mean? In the past, this is what victims do.
Absolutely.
They have to pretend, they have to act, they have to go to their happy place. And it's sad, man. It's super sad, man.
It really is. Yeah. And this went on for a decade. Lisa says, what about little Rod's info and videos? God forbid they get rid of the Cassie video, gets thrown out. Number one, I don't see how they could possibly throw out the Cassie Ventura video. Honestly, I don't. See, they talk about, and I'm not a lawyer, but they talk about probative value, right? And how important is that to this case? Is it one of those things that, because you don't know who leaked that, it's worth throwing out? Of course not. The damage done to this case, this is an absolutely vital piece of evidence, right? You would have to be able to, in my opinion, you would have to really be able to show federal government that without a shadow of a doubt, this was leaked and it was leaked for the purpose of, right? I don't think there's a chance of that happening. Whose phone do you think that thing was on? Where do you think that came from? I think Cassie had it, right? I think that was something that Cassie's team leaked. They were tired of hearing their client get disparaged and they were tired of Sean Combs out there going, yeah, nothing any of these people says is true. Nothing. How fast did they go from nothing anybody said was true to everything you saw on that tape, man? That was the lowest of my life, right? I was at rock bottom.
Yeah.
You're
But we
so
were in a
full of
12-year
shit.
relationship, and that's how relationships are.
Can you imagine saying that, you tone deaf fool? We were in
Yeah.
a 12-year relationship. What you saw was a snippet of a loving relationship. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You looked
What
it.
God.
Yeah, right. For real. I mean, that's one of the most tone deaf, really, absolutely tone deaf. And the apology was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Now, people, we're going to pivot to something that's even more disgusting. I mean, from a legal standpoint. And this one's a pistol. Because here's the good news on this one. With Mark Agnifilo, we're going to sit here and we're going to speculate a lot. We're going to speculate about whether or not is this going to hurt Mark Agnifilo's career? Are people going to look at him like he's a dirtbag because of the stuff that he's got to do? Good night, Shell. Are people going to look at him different? Thanks for spending some time with us. I really appreciate you. You sleep well. I think, right? Or just quickly, security video different, but Diddy videos, if everyone didn't know they were being taped, can they even use those in court? Yeah, absolutely. They can use those videos in court, even if the people didn't know they were being recorded, right? What they would do, though, is they would do it under seal so that the only people that are ever going to see that, right? I mean, it's like CP. There were going to be child victims on there. And if you're a jury member, you're going to sit through that, right? It's horrific. But
right.
And in murder cases, you're going to look at pictures and things that no one can unsee. It's one of those things that jurors have to endure. But this jury is going to watch these films, no matter what. All of these things will come in. I don't think we're going to see the Cassie Ventura thing thrown out. No, TMZ did not. That was not released by TMZ. It was released by CNN. This is the fascinating part, and this is why I think it's an attorney, or at least a half logical reason why it's an attorney. It was not sold, allegedly. It was just sent to CNN anonymously. Do you have any idea what you could have sold that for?
Yeah.
Honest to God, man. You could have sold that for a halfway decent house in the country, right?
Yeah.
You're not a Diddy place, not a Diddy house, but you could definitely get you someplace that looked pretty good. Sorry, reading your comment here real quick. Does anyone think this will actually go to trial, though? Professor Patty, yeah, this is going to go to trial. In fact, the only thing that would stop this guy. What's that?
It's his only chance of getting out ever, is if he goes to trial and wins.
It goes to trial, or he's Epstein. The only way this doesn't go to trial is if he's no longer breathing, because they can't give Diddy a deal, right, that would be good enough that he would take it. He's 55 years old. What could you offer him? 20 years? Okay, Diddy, you're out at 75. I don't think he's taking that deal. I don't think his ego would allow it. But that would probably be the best he could hope for. And realistically, because this is the federal government, you know how the deal would go? They'd go, if you plead guilty to this today, we promise to try to get you as close as we can to your family. Right? I mean, they don't need to deal on this. Yeah. Everybody thinks, well, they're going to throw him this sweet deal to keep him. They don't have to. There's nothing. When you deal when your case is a little bit weak, right? And you want to save everybody the hassle, and there's no chance in hell of this guy. I shouldn't say that. The only other thing he could do, Diddy could get out in 10 years, right? He could. I don't think he would take a 10-year deal. But if Diddy wanted to get out in 10 years, he would have to have 5 K1s, and he'd have to have about a 12-pack of them. So if he started taking out everyone he knew that was doing any kind of crime, it doesn't even have to have anything to do with this. If he knows a guy that sells kilo upon kilo of blow somewhere, and he can get that dude set up, he can get a 5K1 on it. If he knows a guy that's laundering money from Switzerland, right, through using banks or whatever, and you know, the record labels, anybody he can get that's ripping off the law that he could get a deal to rat on, he could start stacking those. And if you became the most
big, though,
it would have to be big.
They would have to
be big. They don't like people swimming downstream, right?
Yeah.
They'll let a little of that go on, especially in a RICO case. But they don't want you. They want to get people above you. They would like to get the players.
Yeah. My attorney told me, he's like, when he sat down with me, he's like, hey, if you're thinking about cooperating, unless you know Escobar, there's no deal for you. And I was like, okay.
Do you know what they used to say back in the
Yeah.
day? My ex-wife said to me that when she was in law school, that they taught her all of the rules of, everything you could ever learn, and they were handling just the narcotics and drugs and all that stuff. And at the end of it, they said, "There's one more rule, law that we hadn't taught you." And she said, "What is that?" And he goes, "The law of the kilo." And she goes, I don't remember studying that or memorizing that." He said, "The law of the kilo goes something like this: if your client is gets caught selling kilos, everything you learned is out the window, right?
Yeah.
Everything you learned is out the window because they're not going to deal. They don't have to deal. The guy's looking at so much freaking time that he's going to come crawling to them, right? I told this story a million times, but we had a guy on the lifeboat. He's a member of the Drug Enforcement Agency, DEA agent. He reached out to me in this first season. We talked a lot. I got to know the guy. And I said, tell me about some of the, the great undercover work. And he goes, "Man, I'll tell you the truth. I only worked one case in my career." In his career. He said he worked one case where he went out, found the dude, and they took pictures, and they found out who was buying, and they picked one of those guys off, and they turned him. He said, and from that bust, the rest of his career were people telling on other people.
Yeah.
Right? That first group said, "Oh, I can turn in these guys." And those guys said, "Well, I can turn in these guys." And then he just worked that, and it never stops. They all just keep ratting on each other.
Wow.
This is different. This is way different. There's just not that many places for him to go, right? Above. Is he going to get Lucifer? Right? Sir Lucifer Grange from American Music Group. Hoptamarian from Ethiopia Hoptamarian from the Motown. Those names are on an equal playing field with him. But there aren't a lot of other ones. Clive Davis is on kind of that. These are the names that are up there. The guys that are considered maybe the power brokers, so to speak. Hold on one second. Did I forget about G, who was shot at the studios by Combs or Justin? Little Rod was present with that. No, I'm not. Yeah, I wouldn't forget that at all. Odd. It was a drive-by. You know what I mean? That happens. You can't just automatically assume that every drive-by is a crime, unless the guy got shot in a bathroom inside the studio. Because that's just, you're gifted with your drive-bys. Whatever your gang is paying you, it's simply not enough. Because apparently they said it was a drive-by, but the bathroom had the dude got capped in the bathroom. There are so many cases. There are so many cases that are involved in this that they turned and looked the other way. What if he confessed? Oh no! So here's what happens if he confesses, right? You've got a vertical access, right? And this is how they determine how you're going to, right? How your sentence is. It goes from 1 to 43. And your crime is given a number, right? Bank robbery, 21. You got X number of money, that's an enhancement. You carried a pistol, that's an enhancement. You were the mastermind and you had getaway drivers and there was conspiracy, that's an enhancement. You say, "Okay, I'll take total responsibility and I will do elocution," meaning I'll go in there and go, "All right, Casper was in on it. This is how we did everything." And I just tell the whole damn story. They will say, "All right, your numbers added up to a 25. We'll drop it down to 22.
Yep.
Thanks for the help."
You get 3 points.
You get 3 points off, and that's it.
And,
honestly,
and you can mess up one of those points. I messed up one of my 3 points on my counterfeiting charge. I can't remember why.
Because you refused elocution.
I got the 2, but I didn't get the third one.
Yeah, because this happens to so many people when they don't explain this to you, because this happened to me on my first federal rip, but not on my second one. When the judge says, "Would you like to get up, your elocution statement?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm good." Oh, there's your 2 points. You need to get up and tell them what a loser you are, because they want that on record. And in the process of doing that, you also give up a right to your appeal. Right? When you plead guilty, you're done. Like that is you're never getting out of jail free card. You're going to do your whole sentence. That's it. In theory. You can still file a 2255, but you got to be creative and you got to find the right people. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. All psychopaths are narcissists. Is that the truth? But not all narcissists are psychopaths? How does that work? Honestly, I'm not sure. As you know, not splitting the atom, these individuals, with the enabling of hundreds, they're charged with the topping on a shit cake. Thoughts and prayers, please, for Lady Spellbreaker's cousin.
Yes.
He did confess to the YouTube hotel. I mean, to the hotel incident. He went on YouTube or on Instagram, and he said, "Yes, that's me." But there's a funny thing that happens in crime. You can go in and sit down with a police officer and say, "I did it. I ran up to the car. I broke the window. I reached inside. I stole the bag. When the guy came up on me and saw it, I popped 2 caps in him. I did it. You got me." Then you meet your attorney. And the next day you say, "That was coerced. I didn't say that." It happens every single day. It's amazing how many people backpedal and try to change their mind after they've already put in a plea. Can we find, is it possible to get the Alexander letter from Alexander's attorney?
Yes.
Or anything from that bail hearing? Let me bring you up to speed. The bail hearing is one of the most disturbing.
Yeah.
Yep. One of the most disturbing bail hearings ever, and just absolutely stupid. I talked about this earlier today, but the purpose of a bail hearing from a lawyer's standpoint is to humanize your client. You want your client to look like a parent. You want your client to look like a real estate broker. You want him to look like a brother and an uncle and all of the things in life that are good. He's got a brand new kid on the way. You want to humanize this stuff, right? Your Honor, even if these things took place, this man right here, the man you're looking at, is a changed man. He has become a father. You know it. Now they're back at the cell. These guys couldn't be bothered. These spoiled dudes, they found out that when you go to one of these court hearing things, they wake you up at 3:00 in the morning, right? And then they put you in a room with a bunch of guys who I'm not racist. I'm being honest. These are 3 really rich Jewish boys who are accused of the R word. There is no place on planet Earth that you would rather not be 3 Jewish boys accused of the R word than a federal prison, except maybe a California prison. But there is a level of anti-Semitism that exists inside prison that's palpable. It just is. And these guys are, they're really going to be, I think that they don't like getting into a prison transport where there's a ton of other guys heckling the hell out of them. You've been on a transport with a freak, haven't you? They will just give that person the blues.
Yep, the blues.
They have you shackled, so there's not going to be a fight. And they have you in a van, and normally the van has like 6 rows of seats. So you're sitting like this, like sardines, and they'll have one guy in there that's no good. They'll stick him in the Cyrus the Virus cage in the back so that nobody can get at him, right? There literally is this cage in the back like they had for Cyrus the Virus in Con Air. And they shoehorn the creep, right? Because you guys call them all these names, but inside we usually just refer to them as creeps, believe it or not, right? I mean, there's chomos and that kind of, but the guys that just are creepy with women are just usually called creeps. Like if somebody calls you a creep in there, it's not a very good. But anyway, the freak goes into the Cyrus the Virus cage, and they start driving, and for the entire way there, everybody in there is heckling the dude in the back. You know, hey, Grapo, hey, and they'll just keep going off. I would imagine that after a couple of these rides, because they've made a few of them, they just determined that, yeah, well, maybe we'll just stay in our cell. But they didn't show up in court today. Bad juju. These guys also had their attorney, spoiled guys, had their attorney call up. Are you ready?
Yeah, they
called up the judge on Christmas Eve, bro.
It was on Christmas. You want that one?
No. You can just pull up the letter. All I'm saying is they reached out to the judge on Christmas Eve. If you really want to get a judge to probably not be in your corner going forward.
Okay, I got you. I was looking for something more recent.
No, you're good.
I can get
their bail hearing was today. At the bail hearing, these guys showed up with a polygraph test. Now, this polygraph test was not administered by the government. This polygraph test was administered by somebody that they hired. Then, to make sure that it's legit, they had a couple of former federal agents that apparently were in the room. The judge laughed at this. I'm not even joking. The judge was like, yeah, that does nothing for me, man. Your polygraph doesn't do a damn thing. The transcripts from the bail hearing are fantastic. And the reason that they are is because there aren't any clients there. And when lawyers talk directly to judges, they talk way different. When we show up, we change everything. They're just professionals. It's like listening to Reese talk to another Scientologist, right? It's a different language. They're talking fast. Get somebody normal in the room. Hold on one second.
Memo, endorsement letter. Letter, motion addressed to judge.
It really depends on Noah. It really depends on where he's doing his time, because every state is different. But certainly, they're not having a good time. Hold on one second.
Every letter I'm pulling up is from the prosecution, and it's actually on letterhead. I've never seen that. I'm used to seeing.
Hold on one second. I'm just reading comments. Bear with me. Isn't it the synagogue of Satan who Jesus said only pretends? Carol, I have no idea. Honestly, I don't have any idea. Female judge, wasn't it? Yes, it was a female judge, and not one ready to take any kind of crap. Right? Not one that is taking any kind of crap. And I think, again, every single one of these cases, what we're going to find is individuals who know this is their career. This is the thing that's going to make them famous or going to make them infamous, right? Think Judge Ito for people that have been around long enough, right? The entire world was watching, and the OJ judge became famous for all of the wrong reasons, right? You would guess that the polygraph is kind of like the E-meter in Scientology. Well, it's funny that you say that, because the E-meter in Scientology is like a Timu version of the lie detector test. Noah, the name Quibs comes because my fiance's last name was Quibell, right? And I wasn't a really big fan of the beefy bastard that also shared that name. So instead of calling her Quibell, I knocked it down from Quibell to Quib, and then Quibs, and then Quibsy, and then all kinds of other variations of it that are, those obnoxious names that people call each other that make you grit your teeth when you're in the room with them. Well, we got a bunch of them, but I go with Quibs because it's the one that's probably the least offensive. I'm sure he loves it too. Yeah, I'm sure he does, and he's watching. I promise. He doesn't miss my shows. He's a fan. He's a fan. He's a cellist,
United States.
Surprised you didn't know that. Kind of a cellist.
There's missing most. This docket sheet is missing stuff. Let me grab.
Where you might be able to grab it is from that lawyer's page on Instagram.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Attorney Roger. I would give him a shout out if I can remember his last name.
Richards.
There you go.
Yep. Ronald Richards.
And this guy's fantastic. If you like deep diving, this is a guy worth looking into, honestly. I love watching the two of you together every day. Just now I looked up and Casper looks like an Ivy League professor in that sweater and glasses. That is so great.
That's cool.
This whole
thing.
A couple patches on the sleeves. You got them all fooled.
Yeah. Dude, I dumped I cleaned out my cookies out of my browser today, so everything is requiring me to log back in.
Really?
Idiot. Yeah. Well, I had to do it because Pacer wasn't letting me log in, so I had to clean out all the. I'm stupid.
Oh my Lord, Mindy! Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. That is funny, man. That is funny.
Here, I know how I'm gonna do it. Un momento, por favor.
Oh, you don't mean that. Yeah, he's not spouting BS like a college professor because the Big Lebowski didn't spout BS. The Big Lebowski was a genius. Cut the F up, Tony. Such a great film.
Have you seen it? You've seen it, right?
The Big Lebowski?
Yeah.
About 500 times.
Yeah. Okay, is it that? I got it. Is it the last letter he posted?
It should be the bail hearing for them today. Like the bail hearing should be should be the last. Yeah, should probably be the last thing put up on his site. Will probably be it.
Oh, dude, I forgot. I already put it up. It's over in this browser right here. My bad. Representative Alexander, December 12th, the government. Yeah, I had it up the whole time.
Well, that checks out. Yeah, you really are a college professor.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah. There goes my
college professor.
There goes my tenure. Yeah, my tenure is lost now. Okay, share screen.
Pour some sugar
That
on
is
me.
so funny, man.
The dude abides. Well played. Well played. I was waiting for something like great film, dude. Yeah. Forget the cookies. It's on the browser. Ivy League professor, indeed. See that? She's got you.
Oh, I'm gonna close that browser. Here we go. No. Dude, why is
God
that?
damn. I can't run anything. I can't even run a phone.
Share. No, it's not that one. Okay, this
Get
is
the cookies. Grab the cannolis. See, they get it. Yeah, crims are a hell of a lot smarter than most people. I can make rope out of a sheet or wine out of oranges. Mindy gets it. Yeah, don't let Casper make you any jump ropes. He's got game. It'll cost you in the long run.
What's that? What?
I would have got out about a month earlier if it wasn't for your damn jump rope. That's all right. I'm not salty about it. I still love you. For real, man. I had a jump rope. A jump rope. Like I was gonna go out the window with a damn jump rope. I'm like, bro, it's got handles on it. There's two of them. He's like, yeah, to climb down.
Okay, how come I can't get back to? Hold on.
Oh, do you need my help?
No, I still have to.
Good, because if you need my help,
I had so many
real trouble,
dude,
man.
So many tabs open because I had each one of their character reference letters in a separate tab, so I could go. But we don't even need those. We don't even want those. Okay, go ahead. And hopefully, this is the letter we're talking about. If not, I'm going to get the last one you sent.
If Diddy is found guilty, let me see here. I don't know where the hell that just went to. If Diddy is found guilty and sent away, how long do you give him before someone gets their hands on him? Isn't that a great question? And I look forward to answering this. I am of the firm belief that it's not going to take long. I think there are going to be people that want to make a name for themselves, and there's going to be an excitement among places like Pullman 2, Tucson Yard, and Terre Haute, waiting to see if this fool shows up there. So by the time he gets there, which looks like day one, it's not day one. There are going to be people that have been doing this number for a really long time. And if those first interactions when he hits that yard don't go well, someone's going to fire on him within a couple of days. That's usually how it works, right? All depends on how the first couple of days go. And I don't think, he's not going to be popular with the fellas.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't think it'll take long.
I got that shared over to you. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. So I just have to click on it.
Yeah. Do you want it bigger?
No, that probably will do it. Here, this is. I might even be able to read this if I can blow it up.
I do need to use the restroom really fast.
All right, so let me see if I can get this. We represent defendant Tal Alexander in the above matter. Mr. Alexander submits this letter requesting revocation of the detention order. Oh, that just moved on.
Sorry, I did that to so while I'm in the restroom, I wouldn't. Anyway.
Okay, let me see if I can get that back because I don't know what I'm doing, bro.
Oh,
You're smart.
oh,
You're smart. I'm not.
Oh, did I go too far? My bad.
No, I have to blow it up this big, and when I do it with my hands, if the thing moves. We represent defendant Tal Alexander in this above matter. Mr. Alexander respectfully submits this letter requesting revocation of the detention order entered by the Honorable United States Magistrate Judge Lisette M. Reed. I'm kidding. She is. It's just a from a movie. Southern District of Florida on December 17th, 2024. Okay, so he got out of, he bailed out of the state. Very often, you will end up with a state and a federal charge. Sorry. Sorry, folks. You know the drill. I've got people that.
I know. Oh, yeah, that's true, huh?
Sorry. I got people I work with. I got to look at sometimes. I'm sorry. Mr. Alexander's proposal bail package more than ensures his appearance in this court. To the extent the court was not satisfied by the conditions considered by the magistrate, we offer additional consistencies that warrants reconsideration of releasing Mr. Alexander on bail. We further request a briefing hearing at which we can present these conditions to the court. The government opposes the relief sanction in this motion. Now, to the extent the court is not satisfied, right, we offer additional conditions that warrant reconsider. The first time they're shot down is by a magistrate judge, right? The magistrate judge, as I have seen, the magistrate judge, which I have seen which I've said so many times, this is a pro forma thing. You're not going to see the magistrate judge more than once. It's not your judge. They sit around all day long doing nothing, waiting for them to arrest somebody and bring them in. When that person comes in, the judge that they're going to see hasn't been assigned to them yet. You understand? They have to assign you a judge. So you get in there and you just get who's ever the magistrate judge of the day, and they take shifts. Each day they happen to be the magistrate for that day. So you go in and you see that magistrate judge, and they don't care. They're going to go, no. But, Your Honor, we have everything. No, because they want to give the chance for your actual attorney to make that decision, if that makes sense. Now you've been assigned an attorney. This is them coming back. So on December 1st, 2024, the government unsealed an indictment in this court charging Mr. Alexander with one count of conspiracy to commit sex trafficking, according to 18 U.S.C. 1594C. And 2 counts of 18 U.S.C. 1591. That day, Mr. Alexander was arrested at his parents' home in Miami Beach, Florida. When law enforcement officers arrived at Mr. Alexander's parents' home to place him under arrest, could you scroll that up for me a little bit there, bud?
Yep.
He voluntarily met them at the end of the driveway to surrender. Okay. 2 days later, on December 13th, 2024, at a detention hearing was held before Magistrate Judge Reed. At the detention hearing, Mr. Alexander offered an extensive bail package, which included, are you ready? $115 million bond, secured by 4 properties owned respectively by Mr. Alexander, his parents, Shlomo and Orly Alexander, and his brothers, Oram, Elon Alexander, who are co-defendants in this matter. They surrendered their U.S. passports, their home detention. They're offering home detention with GPS monitoring at his parents' home in Bal Harbor, Florida, with his wife and his infant child. At the hearing, the government called FBI Special Agent Justine Atwood. Sorry, a little bit further down. I think I can get it. No, just scroll it down a little bit.
Yeah, the other way. My bad.
Yeah, there you go, right there. At the hearing, the government, Justin Atwood, a witness prior to cross-examination, and again at the end of the hearing, Mr. Alexander requests Jenks material. I don't know what that is, including any reports prepared by Special Agent Atwood pursuant to 18 USC, blah, 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 blah. At no point during or after the hearing did the government turn over the requested material. Magistrate Judge Reed stated that if there were any material on the disclosures that warranted further review, the hearing would be reopened and the material. The prosecution in the federal system is different than the prosecution in the state system. And they owe them this, right? Nothing. They don't have to give you any discovery. Now, you'll hear people say, oh, they do this all the time. They'll always give discovery ahead of time. The only time they give discovery ahead of time is if it's going to talk you out of trying to take your client to trial. You understand what I'm saying? Like they'll call in, I'm going to trial for bank robbery, and they call my attorney, Casper, into their office, and they go, hey, you want to get a look at some discovery? Come on over here. Here's a picture of Tommy walking into a bank. Here's a picture of him walking out of a bank with a pile of cash. Here's a picture of him and they lay all of that out in front of him. But they're not going to hand it over discovery until deep into this case. So this jackwagon of an attorney goes walking in there and decides he wants to try this case. And he starts talking about how, the videos don't show what they say and this and that. And, people were getting up after their intercourse. So obviously they couldn't have been too badly chemicaled, tone deaf, absolutely ridiculous stuff.
I can tell you what Jenks material is.
Give it to
Jenks. Jenks material is written or recorded statements made by witnesses in a federal criminal case. The term comes from the Supreme Court case Jenks versus United States.
I think I remember Jenks versus United States.
I know a guy named Jenks, so that's all I think of.
Yeah. There are certain laws, like we were talking earlier in the earlier show that I did about Booker. There is nobody that has done one day in the federal system that doesn't know of the case of Booker. At that point, it changed how sentencing went across the board. So it gives a judge an opportunity to sentence someone to whatever they want, and the guidelines became guidelines instead of hard and fast rules. They were just to guide the judge. The exception to that rule is if somebody gets a mandatory minimum sentence. These crimes that the Alexander brothers committed carry mandatory minimums. They carry mandatory minimums of 180 months, right, for each of these accusations. There are 43 of them. This is going to blow your mind. This is also different than the state. There are 43 cases. What if they beat 42 of them? Then the only thing you could sentence them to was one case, right? Wrong. Once you get convicted of one of the 43 cases, the judge at his discretion or her discretion can say, I think you did the other ones.
Yep.
Since you've been found guilty of this one, I'm going to just go like a preponderance kind of thing. And I'm going to say, I think you did all of them. And I'm just going to sentence you as if you did. And there is nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
How's that?
That's so crazy.
Is that not so breathtaking?
I've seen fools get hit on it though. A few times. I seen a guy get hit on a pistol, a pew for that.
Yeah.
At sentencing, some girl came and testified. Yeah, I seen one in his glove box. Well, since you were found guilty of all this other stuff, I'm just going to assume that the pew was there.
Yeah.
And enhanced him 15 years for it.
That is a federal law, Lady Warrior. That is something that a federal judge can do.
This silly old microphone.
Yeah, it is.
Are you waiting for me to scroll or?
No, you know what? Honestly, I just can't sit anymore. The pain in my back is.
Oh man. No,
you know what you want, but I'll let you continue till the end of this if you want. Just all you.
No, I seen my neurologist yesterday, and they started me on a new muscle relaxer, and then next week I'm getting hip injections.
Yeah.
Is
it helping or what?
I haven't got the muscle relaxers I haven't got the injections yet, but yeah, my back is trashed generally every morning. So I feel you, brother. We'll definitely say some prayers for your issue. Are you seeing a doctor?
Oh my God, yes. Have
you heard of chirp wheels? Chirp wheels?
I do not. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I have 6 of them. They're different sizes. They're wheels that you can lay on your back.
Oh yes, I didn't know what they're called. I have them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And then mine came with a little back brace too. It's a chirp back brace that pulls your shoulders back. So you can wear that during that. But whenever I wear that, I get a burning pain in the middle of my back. And it's so I don't wear the brace anymore. But
you know what, Kristen Melinda, you're pretty funny. Crims in retirement talk.
Yeah. That'll be the next one. The next channel.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, brother. Well,
yeah, I apologize, people. I would like to do this and talk to the end, but I got to get on a heating
I
pad.
got you from having to lean over and read, probably.
No, you know what? I think I'm just when it comes right down to it, I'm just old and falling apart. But I do want to thank everyone. Listen, if you have not hit subscribe on Casper's channel, please put up the links to Casper's channel. If you have not hit subscribe on Casper's channel, I'm going to find where you live and I'm coming after you. And that goes exactly the same for the other two members of the Four Horsemen. I want you to realize this, people, and I'm not joking. Very often as YouTubers and as content creators, especially if you talk about true crime, we bring up theories and we talk about things and we give opinions and we bring from a life that was pretty crappy, a life of crime and a life of drug addiction. We bring some insights that people probably aren't going to come across if they lived a different existence. And it's fun, right? And it's cool. And it lets us link with people in a very unique way. However, I've never done anything where I could make a difference, right? Honestly, make a difference. And this thing that we're going after here, when it's done, there's going to be a big red bow on it. We're going to be able to hand it to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, because the more that I understand what this human tea stuff is, the more I have read this and reread this and looked at this statute inside and out. I know that what my girlfriend has amassed is a absolutely bulletproof case,
yes,
where 190 different courts are doing this. You want to talk about a RICO case? This is a RICO wet dream, and we have an opportunity to do some pretty wild things. But you're going to want to make sure that you're subscribed to all 4 of these channels, because we're going to be rotating where this content is coming from, and you're going to want to make sure you're out in front of it. It's fixing to get ugly.
Yeah.
And and my ASMR stuff, folks, is coming, and it's coming, I mean, in really short fashion. You're going to be blown away. So for those who are interested in the Alice in Wonderland and the sleep stuff, it's coming. It'll be up, I would imagine, within the week.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Yep. So
I'm
stay tuned for that. Johnny Scoville says, thank you, Casper. And make sure you get those links up there one more time, people. I'm asking you, you'll notice, honestly, 4 years. I don't say hit the subscribe button. Like, I'm bad at that stuff. I don't do any of this stuff. I'm saying right now, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, do it. And for all of you who send me emails and say, how can I help? This is how you can help, right? Share the videos. Go watch what my fiance did today. That video will take your breath away. And we're moving in the right direction. Pretty happy.
Actually, we're about to go watch it right now.
That's right. Good times. I probably will do the same. All right, people. Between now and the next time I see you, reach out and try to save somebody. Casper, thank you so much for.
Thank you for having me tonight, man. I so appreciate it. Yeah.
I'm never happier than when you're over here, bro. I really am having a good time doing this. This is honestly, you know, when Kristen Melinda said kind of Crims talking about retirement, the really funny thing about this is I swear to God, it's like being in elementary school. Like, I couldn't be happier doing what I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? The irony of the fact that the only guy I got along with in prison has got the talent to bring all of this together. For those of you that don't believe in a higher power or the universe or whatever, then you got to really dig this coincidence, huh?
And we're both sober. Oh my God.
Both sober, right? And the greatest story that I've come across in my life happens to be attached to my fiance. It's not a bummer either. So, all right, people, we will see you on the next one. I promise. Between now and then, reach out. God bless. I have a TENS unit. They do work. Unfortunately.